study groups currently working. Each study group is focusing on one specific application or area of research. If we are specific to internet only, with respect to internet, we have three major study groups wherein we as individuals can contribute. These are SG, study group is abbreviated as SG. So we have SG20, SG11 and SG13. So if you want to contribute there, you can look out for that. As TSDSI members, we can take our contributions directly to ITU by being just the members, or we can route our contributions via the government. How is this done? We have TEC, Telecommunication Engineering Cell in DOT. They have their national working groups, NWG, corresponding to each study group of ITU. So they would actually help our contributions to be routed as individual members through DOT to ITU. So there are two ways, either the government path or you can do it via the TSDSI membership. Then TSDSI was formed with broader vision to ensure that digital communication standards increasingly drive the domestic economic and policy activities and enhance India's competitiveness for ICT goods and services in global markets. Now, as has been discussed during the entire day, standards are set looking into the global scenario, looking into what actually the global requirements are. But if we look into the Indian setup, our mobility requirements, our population density and the other requirements, applications which might be primarily being focusing on only the agriculture or healthcare, here we have different set of requirements. So in order to put up those requirements into the global field, so that is where TSDSI plays a very important role, and upon their role being played over the years, they were able to actually introduce 5GI into the global standards. We had it included in 3GPP release 17, as you have already been informed. So the objectives with TSDSI are to develop, promote and standardize the India specific requirements for ICT applications. Then once this is done, it helps to take the Indian requirements onto the global standards. Further, the contributions taken forward are always open and unbiased. All the people on the stage, on the floor, they are always open to give their contributions or give their remarks as to why or why not a specific contribution specific to the Indian scenario is relevant or not relevant, and accordingly the contributions then take shape of any technical specification. It's not that if a stakeholder puts up their contribution that would eventually turn into a standard only. That is not possible. There are a round of discussions that contribution undergoes, and once it is concrete and everyone is at a level that yes, this is actually a requirement from the Indian perspective, only then it is transformed into a specification. Otherwise, those contributions are also scrapped at times. TSDSI has alliances with various global and Indian organizations. An important one is 3GPP. 3GPP basically has 7 key members, and one of the key members of 3GPP is TSDSI. All the information we can extract from tsdsi.in with respect to the TSDSI, and 3GPP components you can extract from 3gpp.org. Then it has an important alliance with 1M2M. They have been hosting their meetings in India at different points of time as per the need, and also the global standard collaboration, and has multilateral MOU also. These are a set of other alliances which are coming along with TSDSI, and where we can actually put in our contributions as members, but only as members. Even if somebody is not sure that whether I'll be able to contribute significantly after being a member, because membership comes with a membership fees, you can also be an observer member. An observer member allows 2 to 3 members of your institute or your company to actually just listen to the discussions on standards which are occurring. TSDSI holds plenary every 3 months, so you can just join in those meetings, listen to what's going on, what are the areas on which they're researching, what contributions, who is presenting, which all organizations are involved in specific areas, and then accordingly decide whether or not to go ahead with the membership. So that facility is also available. Looking into the organizational structure, let's start from the bottom. We have the Secretariat, which has the DG, the Director General, and under the Director General there are three main blocks which operate independently. The technical activities, and the technical activities we have technical groups, which is the study group networks, focusing primarily on the network architectures, components, network functions, etc. And we have a study group on services and solutions, which primarily focus on different application areas. I'll list out a few of the contributions that are currently running and the ones that have still scope for future. Apart from this, we have the Governing Council, wherein we have 21 elected members and 8 government nominees. So these members, elected members, are from academia, industry, and government offices. Many of the retired IES officers are roadmaps till now. Basically, a roadmap is a projection of possible activities and possible areas of research for the coming 10 years. But they tend to modify it as per the advancements in technology, because technology is ever evolving. We cannot have a very finite predictivity here. So they have put forth 3 roadmaps, and this roadmap also, when it is projected, the entire Governing Council sits together considering the current state of the art and the future to predict how the technologies would be moving forward. Then an important part or an important contribution, as has been said, is the contribution of 5G IE standards, which has been introduced into 3GPP, or what we call as the LMLC, Low Mobility Large Cell contribution of TSDSI. Currently, we have about 120 members in TSDSI, comprising of industry, academia, startups, government and private universities, and some freelancers also. And there have been about 10,028 standards which have been put forth, and about 150 technical reports published. So whenever a new contribution is made, the first thing is publication of the technical report. It is only after this report we can move forward towards a specification which would be globally accepted. So as I said, the primary activities with respect to standardization are pursued under 2 technical groups, the study group networks and study group services and solutions. This is a list of some of the broader areas that are covered under networks, and this is the security, application layer, and service architecture and framework is where service and solution groups works upon. Under each of these, there are distinctive set of running contributions in TSDSI, and some of them have already been taken forward to 3GPP. 3GPP also has specific work groups which focus on specifically on the RAN and the core technologies. We have RAN 1 to 6 and this SA groups 1 to 6, and core for the core networks we have again 1 to 6 corresponding groups. Just like we had ITU study groups, similarly we have it for the 3GPP as well. If you want to get an overview of the current activities in a limited amount of time, probably you even don't want to be observer members with TSDSI, you don't want to spare that much of time attending the plenaries. TSDSI holds its annual conference every year in the month of mostly June or July, and it is basically a 4-day conference wherein we have all the sessions online. Only the last day sessions are held in a hybrid mode, because if people want to network, meet people from the different organizations, they can come over. So this TSDSI Tech Deep Dive Conference, TTDD it is called. So it is held every year, and one can register free of cost in this. So you can get an overview of what standards basically are, how they are evolving from India perspective, how individual people can actually contribute to it, because a small talk or a small session might not be sufficient for someone to actually assess how this is working. So TTDD is a good platform again, even if you don't want to be observer members, if you're not very sure as to whether or not you'll be able to contribute in the long run. Then this is the roadmap 3.0, which has recently been released in 2024, middle August 2024. So in this roadmap, certain areas have been identified which would be actually focusing on beyond 5G networks or 5G enhancements and 6Gs. This is working in line with release 19 and 20 of 3GPP. Then there are set of verticals and applications, and of all these applications, the UAV and the non-terrestrial network activities have gained a lot of momentum. If I talk about the security aspects and the security view, if you look around and assess, you will be able to see that there are quantum key distribution algorithms gaining a lot of momentum here under the activities being carried out in SGSS also. So one can contribute there if anybody holds a specific interest here. And again, these are other areas wherein we can move forward or look forward to contributing. Like VLC, NTN, ITS, Intelligent Transport Systems also have gained a lot of momentum over the past few years. And the cloud, obviously, it is ever evolving. We'll always have that intact for the future research. In AIML, open systems, and the rural broadband. Rural broadband holds much more importance when we talk about the Indian scenario, because the requirements are very different from what is currently being going on in the urban areas or suburban areas. Now let's have a brief look on the accomplishments of TSDSI. So in SGN and SGSS, we see that there are 13 and about 138 reports currently, the technical reports currently published, and certain standards have already been transposed. So many of these are underway in 3GPP, and they have been getting a lot of acceptance also. Once these actually get a formal acceptance and are moved forward, the researchers who are working on the standards part initially, then they go ahead with the POC to actually test and verify these further on a larger scale before incorporation into the technical standard in a 3GPP or ITU technical specification. So I've listed a few of the technical reports under each of the areas which were listed in the previous slides. If you want to access these, you can scan this QR, or you can get all the data from TSDSI webpage. It is specific to an individual how you want to pursue this initiative, because TSDSI is an organization which would help every individual member to understand the concept of standards, how they've been functioning, and what is the scope of your contributing here. So since the students have been working in this hackathon doing their sub-projects, so I think it would provide a good platform for them to get better insights to the technology here. And when we talk of internet, it is basically a network of networks, right? So when we talk of a network, it is not just one technology, it is basically an amalgam of various technologies. So just try to dig into some part of it which would actually help you expand your knowledge. Then obviously the final decision would be on to you how to pursue this. TSDSI has been engaged with global forums over the past many years now. It had contributed to the IMT 2020 framework also, and it has contributed to IMT 2030 framework also, which was released by ITU. The areas with major focus in IMT 2030 were on agriculture, per se our Indian setup, and then we had a lot of focus on healthcare. If you know, teleoperation has been gaining a lot of interest of the community nowadays. Every now and then you might have seen hoardings stating robotic surgery, robotic diagnosis, etc. They have been promoted a lot by the government and the private sector. So IMT 2030 framework includes that. Plus, TSDSI initiatives also have been driven by technical reports in this area over the past around 2 years now. You have sufficient amount of data available at that end also, because these applications have gained a specific set of releases in this 3GPP activities. Then 3GPP, as I said, TSDSI has been hosting their meetings also over the past few years. So that has also helped us play an important role in the contribution of the standards overall. And 1M2M also, there have been 2 releases in 1M2M, release 2 and release 3. wherein if you people have worked on IoT applications, you must have heard about protocols like MQTT, CoAP, HTTP. You usually use these applications when you talk of IoT networks. So releases 2 and 3 of 1M2M were about these protocols and their enhanced versions. So protocol basically is a set of rules, right? We need to follow these rules in order to make our applications working. So TSDSI has been transposing these standards onto the Indian setup. Then in TSDSI, the standardization process goes through 3 major phases. In the first place, when you have to make a contribution, put up a contribution in terms of standard, what is required is that you fill up a new item proposal template. It is available on the TSDSI webpage. In the new item proposal, one has to fill in what is the main agenda of this contribution and what are the objectives. It is a single pager document. So after having a full-fledged, or if not full-fledged, at least a basic knowledge of the technology to which you want to contribute to, so you can put up a new item proposal and submit it either to the study group networks or services, whichever is applicable. It undergoes a round of discussions and finally it is then taken forward for contribution to 3GPP or ITU. If everything goes well, everyone on the floor is satisfied up to a certain level. So usually this is a 1 to 2 year activity that goes on, and finally these are transposed to standards. So there have been quite a few number of 6G activities going on in TSDSI. To name a few, we have listed here, wherein the enablers remain the new radio interfaces, AI/ML technologies, cryptography, quantum, etc. Again, all this information can be accessed by the web page. I am not elaborating because we are short of time here. And these are currently ongoing development activities which are going on at TSDSI right now. So we can look into individual of these activities so as to assess wherein we want to put our interest into or contribute to. Again, this is ongoing activities, and these are some which are completed and some that are currently running in SGN and SGSS both. As I said, individual members, individual entities can be members of TSDSI, either corporate, associates or guests. So guest members, an organization can be a guest member free of cost without for about 6 months, but after that there is some fee applicable. Similar fees are applicable if we want to be 3GPP members or with ITU, but if you choose the government path to ITU, then there is no fees involved. But for 3GPP and TSDSI, there are some basic requirements as to the membership is involved. So the researchers, a group of researchers, if interested, they can head forward for the memberships also. Thank you so much. Any questions? So now mainly we since know what standards are, what is their importance. So this slide deck was primarily to make you aware as to how you can also contribute to standards, because as many of the speakers pointed out that we cannot just randomly talk about standards and say that sitting at our own place we would contribute or make modifications. Our requirements in a village in Assam might be very different from the requirements that would be required in a metro city. So as considering that difference, one has to make sure that standards are in line to support all the scenarios. So since people who are living in these areas, they know these areas much better, so probably the contributions that can be put up by them would be much more better in comparison to the others. So I suggest you people go through the web page, the TSDSI web page once, try to get an insight onto it, and if need be, we can connect sometime, or you can even drop an email to the TSDSI members. They'll help you out in connecting or contributing. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.